Hey everybody, what's up? Circus here coming at you with another State of the Game episode. And tonight we're going to be talking about monetization in the game. Rye has some very strong feelings. I had to hold him back when I
I
said,
do.
Rye, we're going to be talking about money tonight. And he's like, hold me back, Circus, hold me back. So
That's right.
basically, the game can be free to play or very expensive. It depends
hmm
how you want to play it. I tend to wail on the boxes every time. Rye tends to not wail on the boxes, but maybe
No.
spend a little bit more frugally. Um, where are you at with it right now, Ray? I'm happy with where the game's at because I can buy everything, so I don't have a problem with it.
Right. I
Where are
think
you at
right
with it?
now, in terms of the level of free to play versus what I call dolphins versus whales,
Mm-hmm.
the balance is definitely off for free to play players. I think the game is okay for whale or for dolphins. Of course, whales they don't care either way. They just buy the game as they go along.
Mm-hmm.
But I think ultimately, Konami has put themselves in kind of a pigeonhole with how they monetize the game on a whole scale. Currently, what we have is if you want to go totally free to play, zero gem investment, you're not going to have competitive deck. You barely have a PVE deck. To be totally fair, it's really really hard. You get like the hero deck or something like that, and you can do like PVE farm, but like when it comes to like the events and stuff, it's not the greatest. It's you still have to put some gems in, which
Well,
is
I
fine.
I
You
mean, is
can't
that what
nothing to do.
you should expect though? I mean, this is a company. I mean, I would think this game
So
costs more than a couple of bucks to make. Shouldn't they be able to make some money on the game?
sure, and I think the problem with Konami's mindset is let's milk this in the short term as much as we can, right? Because before, what you could do is you could farm like ridiculous cards, Amazons, Cyber Angel,
Hmm.
etc., etc., etc. I would argue that was also very unhealthy for the game. To have like a basically,
A free meta deck.
it's not even just a free meta deck. If it was free and it was like weak in the meta, you still had to get like better decks later down. It's like beginners
Right,
deck. That'd be fine. But Cyber Angel was the best deck. Amazon was the best deck, and that was like
right.
a totally free to play option. So that was also unhealthy. Me personally, I believe the time that this game was at its most kind of balanced was when the structure decks when they gave you a meta deck, right? Like if you were like, all right, I don't want to just like play RNG gacha to get like a really good meta deck. What can I do? Well, you can go spend $20 and you're guaranteed a meta deck, and that's your beginner's meta deck, and then you go build whatever you want. I think that was perfect for the game.
Hmm.
Obviously, if you're free to play, you're still gonna disagree with that, but I mean, like you said, it is a business, and at some point they do have to make money. And I think that was a pretty good breaking point for them. Now, in terms of Konami as a business making money, I do think they're very short sighted in how they do things. Because right now, what they're doing is releasing really overpowered cards and selection boxes, right? Which is, in my opinion, a very big no no because that only benefits the whales and the very lucky dolphins that are able to get, for example, Fiendish Chain. Some people got it in $50, some people got it in 70, some people have to spend hundreds of dollars.
200. I'm just gonna throw a number out
Yeah,
there. 200.
200, 300, if they messed up their resets
Hmm.
and all their gems, and they only end up with like two Fiendish Chain. Um, so that's a problem because now those players are susceptible to quitting, right? And of course, if a dolphin quits or a whale quits, that's a big problem for the company because that's a lot of their income just out the door. Um, so that's a bad practice that they do. And then on top of that, recently, well, of course, the structure decks, we all know structure decks are useless now. you're you're lucky if you get like a bad aim in a structure deck, right? Which is awesome. I'm glad that we get access to cards like that in structure decks. But before you could build like a whole meta deck around them. Now they're not even meme worthy, like you can't even do anything with them. Like for example, Dragoonity. If I want to go build Dragoonity, if I get just the structure deck, it's useless. It's a meme. I have to go into another main box and get triple of the UR just to make that structure deck work.
To be
That is
fair, full power
insanity.
Dragoonity is a meme too.
A meme that's been nerfed though.
Right.
So yeah, apparently that's it's powerful in Konami's eye.
But okay,
And
so
I
you have some obvious problems with the way they're doing it. But if
yeah,
I'm Konami and I'm making money hand over fist and I can release complete garbage and people are gonna just buy into it like crazy, why would I change anything?
because as a business, they have quotas to meet, right?
Hmm.
That's why we see these bad practices in place because, as you do better, your company expects you to do even better. And Konami, instead of investigating different avenues to generate income, they've decided no, let's just hit the core power of the game, the power creep. Let's just keep upping, 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 and releasing these cards at a premium, forcing people to
Right, but why would you change
spend the
it if
money.
people are willing to pay for it?
Because overall it's killing the game, right?
Is
People
it?
are quitting. People are not, they're not interested in playing, for example, tournaments. People only want to play, uh, you know, why do you think people only want to play like one single format? They don't want to play like two deck or multiple deck because they can't afford it.
Right.
They just can't afford it. Um,
But should you be able to play all the different decks or whatever? Because if you talk to people in TCG, a lot of times they have their one deck and they play that for like a year or whatever. You know, they
I
go to
don't
all
think
the different events, they go to their YCS, and then if how depending on how they do with it, they might sell that deck off because it cost them $1,000 to build.
I don't think you should play all the decks, but especially if a deck's not good, it should not cost me an arm. It shouldn't cost me more income to play a bad meme deck than a meta deck. You know what I mean? Like
But I
that's
mean,
that
you
just
could have invested in Shiranui. You could, if you invested in Invoker, like we always talk about, you invested
mhm.
in Invoked. It lasts over a year, and let's say you spent $300 on it. Isn't that a good
But
investment?
how many of those players have we seen like not play Alpha Wayne, Shiny Sophion, all these players that are tired of the meta that are whales or dolphins have exited the game. And one of those players leaving is the equivalent of like 100 free to play players that spend like $10 on the game a month, if that. Uh, you know
Hmm.
so it is affecting their bottom line is my point, which is then turning around, and then now they have to put pressure on the rest of the player base to continue making the income that they used to be making because one dolphin left or one whale left. And they don't have to do that. That's the thing that boggles my mind. They don't have to do that. They can sell, for example, cosmetics in the game, more mats, more sleeves. They could easily sell those for more money and make a lot more money doing that. I know people who have like every mat and sleeve just because they come out, boom, immediately buy them. They could do cosmetics for characters instead of releasing a Yami Yugi, then a normal Yugi, or a Carly, then a normal Carly. Don't do that. Just release Carly and then release like all her different skins that you can get for the game at a premium. Make them $25. People will buy them. This is what other big microtransactions games, even games that have like a subscription, for example, World of Warcraft, if anyone's ever played that, they have a microtransaction system with a monthly premium, and they release new skins, new mounts, and stuff like that. $20, $25, people buy them. People just immediately go in, whoop,
Hmm.
and buy it. And that's income that Konami is just completely not taking advantage of, and it's causing them to have to go and essentially just keep raising the stakes for cards that are released, right? Keep raising it up, keep making it like, okay, this now we're going to put Stratos and Adoration in a box that's totally useless, not worth whatsoever. The only reason you go in here is to get Stratos. Where before, if you look at what's the Subterra? Was it called Blazing Rose? Is that what it was called? Like,
Yeah,
think how
I don't know.
amazing that box was versus this. You got at the time a meta deck, the Subterra deck. You got Black Rose Dragon. You got Vermilion Dragon mech. You had all these different things in a main box, right? Like I can understand a mini box coming out and failing. That's fine, but a main box failing, that's actually quite rare. If you look at the history of Duel Links, usually a main box has a rather significant impact on the game.
Are we
So
just in a holding pattern though? Because we've seen that with the past three boxes, and I wish we had actual numbers because if the boxes are still selling, who cares, right? I mean, if they can just put two cards into that box and everybody buys it,
but I do you
you
think
know,
everyone bought the most recent box?
that I don't know. We'd have to have numbers because we're only speculating
Yeah.
because we all say
We
it's
are
due
only
to, and I
speculating,
agree. But
but
did
I
that
think we
affect its sales? It's cash
I think
sales, not
I
gem
think we can
sales.
make a pretty good like educated guess though. Three tournaments now, and not a single new deck or a single new card. I think I saw one new card. I think Nova
Hmm.
Mortis played a new XCs. I think it's very telling that no one went into this box, and it
Well,
has
no
to
one
be.
in the competitive scene that we see play, right?
Even in ladder, I haven't seen it.
Well,
I mean, if
I
you just
know,
want to
but
do ladder, you haven't
if
even
they're
seen it there.
continuing to do it, they must be making money. Is my argument. I'm not saying you're wrong, but at the same time, if you continue to do it, it must be working. Why would you do anything else?
But it's not. See, but that's the thing though. It's not working right now. It just suddenly stopped working on them.
You think so? You
So
think this is
I do believe so. I think this is
okay?
this is going to be the breaking point because it's a mini box. They're used to mini boxes failing. I actually did a bunch of research. Actually, let me see if I have the document on my desktop. I do. So I did a bunch of research, kind of ranking all the boxes,
Mm-hmm.
and historically, if you go through all the boxes, when you get to the mini boxes, there's a lot of boxes now you look at it and you're like, you don't ever want to go into them, but they were good back then. For
Right.
example, Empire of Scarlet, totally useless mini box. You don't want to ever go back into it now. But that was a vampire box.
Vampires. Yeah.
But if you look at the main boxes, even the older ones still have good cards to get from them. Ultimate Rising, Sphere Kribo, Fusion Gate, Neo Impact, Sinju, Mirror Wall, Merchant, Divine Wrath and Valkyries, Nobleman, Straight Flush, Zheng Zheng Hu. The only terrible ones like Chaotic Compliance, that's the Bloodluster Soldier, and you still get Fusion sub heroes out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So even like at their worst, you can still get stuff from the main boxes. From this main box, you get Stratos, and that's it. And Stratos, that's not even a good, like, heroes aren't good right now. Like, let's be honest, heroes are not worth investing in.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just anime bait. So,
I feel like maybe they're laying the groundwork for XZs. What my theory I'm gonna throw out
mhm,
there is that we got Satellar Knights. What was in the last box? Wind ups, and
yeah,
now
wind
we
ups.
have all this shark support. I'm still holding to the new year after Christmas into the new year. My prediction: we're gonna start getting some broken XZs, and then people are gonna be like, "Holy crap! I need my Satellar Knights now." And then they're gonna have to go back and rebuy that
I
box.
mean, like, that could be what they're doing, but if that's what they're doing, that's just a dumb business decision at that point because you're now giving up money that you could be getting now, and you're gonna get it like later in the future. Do you know what I mean? Like, why would you do that? Why not release like the Teller Knights and then one of their good XCs that's like
Mm-hmm.
broken, and then because this is what Konami actually does. They release busted cards, nerf it, and then release support that's like, all right, this is kind of to compensate for that nerf, right?
Right.
That's what happened with Shiranui multiple times. It's happened with Element Sabers multiple times. So if that is what they're doing, then they're totally breaking their pattern, which
Well, isn't it kind of what they do with the structure decks? They release a structure that deck that's half baked, and then later release the UR that you need in the box. I
well, that only
you
happened
know
twice. Well, and an all in one box. And then they just stopped doing it all. They just said, okay, structure decks are bad now. We're just not
right.
gonna make them good anymore. I think that was more of a, oh god, we can't make this work. Let's just emergency release this in the main box to take up UR slots, and then from then on, they just said, okay, we're just gonna play it safe with structure decks and not do that anymore.
Well,
Um,
they got to have some kind of plan. I mean, this is a multi-million or billion-dollar company. They can't just be shooting from the hip here. I mean, I'm thinking they have some. This is very intentional.
well, they do have a plan. They plan to just milk it, and instead of having the game last 10 years, they just prefer to last 2 3 years, get as much money as possible, and then shut it down, and then go into a year, 2 years of development, release another game.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is extremely not. It's just not the way to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I do think that Duel Links gives them a significant portion of their income, and it's kind of like that thing where, like, if you ever go to these, like, you know economy classes or whatever, it's like, take your income from the good status to the great status, right? They could become that great status with such little effort. They could literally just like release, like ancient Atem, for the Yugi skin, $10, and people would buy it out the nose.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're making additional income from selling those cosmetics, they're going to be less pressure to do stupid stuff like put Stratos and Adoration in a box that's not even hero related whatsoever.
I mean, aren't they
So
really
then,
just stretching it out though? I mean, if we just keep getting boxes full of garbage with one or two good cards in it, isn't that make it able for them to milk it for a much longer period of time?
what do you mean?
Well, if they keep releasing just a doo-doo box, just a bunch of filler cards, and you release one or two good ones, you could do that indefinitely.
Well, not indefinitely, because what's being hit's the player base, right? The player
Right.
base morale, like the morale of the player base goes down. the saltiness levels go up, and people do have a breaking point, right? Like yes, some people are addicted to this game, and yes, people are um, spending a lot of money on this game, but everyone has that breaking point. And I think for a lot of people, um, like I know, like we say, oh, the competitive community is like a small portion, and it is a small portion. But when you have a deck, or a box rather, not a deck, that has zero impact on the competitive community, and then on top of that has zero impact even on ladder, like I think that's worrying signs. I really, really do. Unless unless everyone, like, I'm not even seeing like a spike up in heroes. Like for
Hmm.
example, when Fiendish Chain officially came out, I did see a spike in Fiendish Chain, and I was like, oh hey, everyone's playing Fiendish Chain. I don't
Right.
see heroes. I don't see anyone playing sharks. I don't see any of this. Um,
Well, could it be that the
I still to
people
this day have not seen a single shark in PvP. It's actually mind-boggling.
Well, could it be that the people that wanted to play heroes with Stratos have already done it, and the people that aren't doing it are like, I can't buy into that deck anyways because it's kind of spread out. I'm not even gonna try because Stratos is already there, so I'm
Well,
not even
yeah,
gonna try to
exactly.
build it.
And that's just again bad monetization. So
Mm-hmm.
instead, because like what I said, like if you ask me whenever Zex was released and we were talking about Fiendish Chain and Stratos
Yeah.
and all that, I was like, okay, there's Stratos and Adoration. Those are two hero monsters. If I were Konami, I would just make either a main box or a mini box. I guess it would be main box because it was a selection
Mm-hmm.
main. So main box. I would make that a full-on hero box, right? Re-release, reprint some of the heroes. That'll entice people to buy heroes, and maybe release 1 to 2 new heroes in that, and people will buy it like crazy. Instead they just put it in like this really, I don't even know what to call it. They're not even setting up for XCs. It's just like really, it feels like a mini box. It feels like they released 2 mini boxes in a row, but one of the mini boxes is even worse, and that's the main box. That just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, why did you release 2 minis in a row? This is
Mm-hmm.
probably going to go down in history as the worst main box we've ever had. I just don't see anything that could even save it at this point. Even the XCs themselves, they're not. They're just so old and just so awful. Like, like whenever I play in ladder and I see someone about to XC summon on me, I just let the XCs go through because I'm like, I don't care what you're gonna make. It's not gonna be threatening enough that I need to like use my Canadia, my Floodgate, my TTH now. I'll just wait for you to make whatever you're making and then destroy it, and then I win.
Right.
So I think that's kind of the disappointing part. And that's it's kind of getting a little bit off on a tangent, but I guess when I want to buy something, like if I want to be enticed to buy something, the correct monetization, right, is Stratos, Adoration, and then a whole bunch of reprinted heroes, because heroes have been done dirty up until this point. And as a new player or a player that does not have heroes, if I saw that, I'd be more willing to buy that, and then for example go into a mini or whatever, go into the get the what's it, the non EX structure deck, uh, and finish up my heroes from there.
Okay. Do you think this is just a North American phenomenon that we're upset with the game? Because I often wonder. I don't have any stats. I'm just wondering out loud here. What's it like in Japan? Are people just like, I don't care. I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh, man. Give me more. I don't care what it is.
So gacha in Japan is like super common, like it's just part of their culture. Uh, their prices are a little bit more fair as well. I'll be honest with that. Just in general, they have more gacha laws as well, that actually dictate what you cannot do with gacha.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit more regulated over there. For them, Japanese players, they have like this weird thing going on with them, because for them, competitive comes second, and then just like the whole anime aspect of the game kind of comes first, just in a general sense. Um, that's why they have like all like the shows and everything are in Japanese, and they have like all the animations and everything going on like that. Um, I don't know if they're angry with the monetization, but I do know that they want more customization. I think everybody wants more customization, right?
Yeah.
Um, like that's why people grind hard to get math and sleeves and events and stuff like that. But that, like, I guess that's kind of like my point. It's like, well, instead, if you made this really cool map, you made this really cool sleeve, why are you giving it away for free? You could make
Right.
a quick buck off of that, meet your quotas better,
Mm-hmm.
generate more revenue. You can kiss up to your bosses, right? Because it's probably like and realistically, it's probably like 2 or 3 marketing guys that make all these decisions when it comes to monetization. It's
Oh, I'm
probably not
sure. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
company as a whole. and they're probably just being pressured from upper management to like do these decisions. So why not work with your team, make things that you've already created in the game instead of like giving them away for free? If people are going to get angry that a mat that used to be free to play is now pay to win, like that's that's on them. In
Right.
my opinion, you should not be angry that cosmetics are locked behind a wall if like the actual game, what matters, the cards are now more accessible because of that.
Well, yeah, if
Um,
you've ever played like Fortnite is a great example, right? I don't know how many hundreds of dollars I've spent on skins for my son. It's absolutely ridiculous. And
yeah.
then like same with like playing Overwatch, yeah, you pay like an initial fee for the game, but then it's all
Mhm.
about the loot boxes. Same with like
Right.
Team Fortress 2, it's all about the loot boxes. And I don't even want to admit how much I've spent on those because I love getting the special
Oh, it's a
skins and
lot.
stuff for
People love
yeah.
cosmetics. People will dress up their characters 100%. It's
If
such
I
an easy
like the
money
medic from Team Fortress 2, if I can make him look like a stormtrooper, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean?
because like the in every business, right? It's not just gacha games, not just video games. In every business, there's a struggle between your greed versus customer service and
hmm
like how happy they are with your game, right? Um, and I feel like Konami's been pushing too much into the greed category, and they do have to give back a little bit to the community. I'll give them some credit. For example, today the dream ticket that we got totally surprised me. Was not expecting
Yeah, no
that.
one was expecting that. Yeah.
So that is a step in the right direction. Like, hey, you gave something for free. That's worth potentially hundreds of dollars. You know what I mean? So that's good. That's a good thing. Um, but at the end of the day, they don't have to do something like that to appease the people, right? They could just simply say, like, hey, we're giving you one free skin of your choice for any character, and then like that would cost them so much less money, right?
Yeah,
Instead of hundreds of
$7. Yeah.
dollars, it'd be like $7 to $10 that they
Right.
could be saving. But they just have to make quality skins in order to do that.
They probably just don't have the people to do that. Let's be honest. There's like 5 guys that work on Duel Links.
Listen, PDS, if PDS can mod in
Right.
these custom skins, I don't want to hear it.
Right.
I don't want to hear it. That's a lazy excuse. Like,
Yeah.
if all I had to do was that, and I could make literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, like if I were in charge, I'd be like, why aren't you guys doing this? Like, this is free money right here.
Well,
So.
I'm gonna also throw this out there. Hope it doesn't get us demonetized, but I have noticed a change in the game and a slowdown in the game since COVID. Do you think that is affecting the state of the game? I don't
Mm,
know how it is in Japan, but here in America, people are
right.
definitely working from home less. Things are less productive. Um,
Mhm.
is that is that what we're seeing? Maybe.
I mean, that could be an aspect to it. Obviously, COVID's hit globally really badly. Another game that I used to play a lot, Final Fantasy 14, used to be on a 3-month patch cycle. That means every 3 months they get new content. I think they're going on month 5, 6 now without a
hmm
single new patch, and they're a Japanese company. So I would not be surprised if it's a similar situation. That being said, we haven't really seen delays in how often. In fact, we're actually seeing things like this main box came actually very fast compared to when the last mini came
Yeah,
in.
it
And
was almost like immediate.
yeah,
I thought there'd be at least
so
another week, but it was right there.
so the work is still being put in, and whether or not that's quality work, that's I don't know if like
I think it's intern work is what it is, or they're
maybe
not
and
play
maybe that
testing
maybe
as
that's
much, or
yeah, and maybe that is what it is. I mean, who's to say? Like Konami's not very you know they don't communicate, so I have no idea. I knew about the Final Fantasy 14 thing because that company is notorious for talking to their community to a fault. Like they'll
hmm
overshare, and you're like, and then they start getting hate on it because they share like, oh, we didn't want to do this because the American people are too sensitive or whatever, and they're like, what, why did you call me? And then go from there. um
well, I do
I
know
wish
that like
Konami would say stuff, but I don't know.
well, if you guys didn't know, I had an account banned earlier in the year for vendoring, so just get over it. But they're like, oh, you can contact us to try to get this account back. So you hit the help button and you go through the procedure and you email them, and they're like, thank you for emailing us. We just want you to let you know because of COVID-19. Response time is going to take like 10 times longer, and we
Yeah,
just will not be responding to certain emails, which was obviously mine. They're like, get out of here.
yeah.
You got banned. We're not going to even talk to you. So, I mean, that I had the screenshot of that at one point because I was sharing that around the community. Like, see, look,
Pretty
I can't even like ask. So I don't know if that's just maybe customer service, but I don't know. Maybe does that affect the game also? I
I
don't
think
know.
that's more
I'm
customer
asking.
service from the North American side because even without COVID,
It's
like
probably terrible.
did anybody ever get through to Konami support? I
Well,
don't
it
think so.
said because of the current COVID-19 or whatever, that
Yeah.
service would be slower than
Um,
normal, and they're not responding to certain things. So does that spread into the game as well? So
Probably. I mean, I would imagine it would affect it. But like these issues have been happening well before COVID as
I
well.
it just seems worse this year. We're seeing
Well,
uh
yeah, it's definitely
there's no
been.
power creep in the game. The
Yeah,
boxes are just getting churned up. There's nothing in them.
yeah, they're not even trying. I think so. This is what obviously what I want is like impossible. Konami would never go for it, right? Where it's like a purely everything that you pay for is cosmetic. That's not what Konami's thing is, right?
Oh God, no.
So
No.
to do like if I had to do you know, a compromise, like Rai gives you half, Konami gives you half. What I would like to see monetization wise. Obviously, I would like to see boxes become good again. I'm tired of like these weak boxes. That's stupid. That needs to be fixed. Number one, I think one of the most important things Konami can do is the older boxes set up a schedule for them to be permanently half off,
Hmm.
half gems, and half on your if you want to spend real money as well.
Okay.
Like the not like the sales, but the actual like
Right.
when you go and
So
buy for things, like it just be like half off
so
permanently.
30 packs for $30 or
Yeah,
whatever it
there's no
is.
reason
Yeah.
if people are going for Ultimate Rising in 2020 that they pay full price for Ultimate Rising. Like it's just ridiculous at this point.
Right.
So I would like to see that, and they don't have to go super far into it, right? It could be just like they could just start off with like the first 4, 5, 6 boxes, and then as we continue to build more boxes, they because when you do something like that, surprise, that will encourage people to spend money.
I would buy the hell out of Ultimate Rising for half
Oh,
price with
for
real
sure. Yeah,
money. Real.
especially yeah, me too. I'd be like, yeah, 25 gems? No, I'm gonna spend like it's like $1 for a pack, right? Is that what it
Right.
is?
If it's 50
It'd
cents a
be 50
pack,
cent for a pack. Yeah, absolutely. I would spend that money.
because we've
Otherwise, I
talked
would have never spent that money. I would just wait for a gem sale.
well, we talked about before in some videos that gems a lot harder to get than money. So
Yeah,
if I can
gems are
spend 50
very
cents on a
valuable.
pack, you bet,
Yeah. No, gyms are extremely valuable. You don't want to be spending those willy-nilly. Like
Right.
you always want to spend your money first. If you are going to spend money, obviously if you're not going to spend money, it's a whole different story. But if you
Right.
are going to spend money, you want to spend your money first, then spend your gyms. So I
Right.
would love to see a system implemented where it's like, hey, these old boxes after a certain period of time, they will go half off permanently.
Right.
Um, that would be perfect. Second, structure decks. Konami, you need to figure out what you want to do with structure decks. In my opinion, a structure deck has to at least, if not meta, at least rogue territory. And even then, the whole thing has to come, the core of the deck has to come from the structure deck.
Right.
Uh, no more of this, you are Couscous, you are, I don't remember what the Gladiator Beast one is called.
But isn't that what they do with the
Tertius or whatever.
TCG? They release a deck. It's got a few cards that you actually want for, that the TCG. Kind of like how you can get what is it like Gold Sark in one of them, right? Or a bad
So
aim or something.
TCG structure decks are like really, really good because you get a lot of the core and you get some generics, and then from there you just take a bunch of staples, and you might like need 1 or 2 cards for your. But for overall, most of the time the core is like complete for you, as far as I know. Um, but TCG is also like here's the thing with TCG, like the big difference between TCG and Duel Links, right? And this, I guess, this kind of ties into monetization, so we can kind of bring this in. When you buy cards, they are yours to sell, like resell or
Hmm.
trade. You cannot do that in Duel Links.
That is not
Um,
true because I trade and sell with the card trader all the time. I
yeah, the
get
card
gold,
trader, let's
sir. I get
go.
gold. How much gold do you get in real life for your cards? I got
No,
10 million
I don't think
gold.
money is backed by gold anymore, is it? Who knows? But no, like seriously, like in for example, like I never liked Witchcrafter. I think it's a very boring deck. It's not my play
Mhm.
style. If other people want to play it, God bless them. But I basically have the whole deck on accident.
Right.
Going for other stuff, I basically got the whole deck. I think I'm missing like one SR or something. If I was able to take those cards and sell them for real money and then use that real money to purchase more packs or purchase other things that I actually need, it would be so much better on my wallet. Obviously, you can't do that, and I understand you can't do that. I'm not saying they should do that, but I'm just saying as a comparison to TCG, that would be the huge difference. Um, so, in TCG, if you have a staple, like you have four of a staple, you could sell one of those staples and then buy whatever staple you're missing. Like there's so many more options for you because it's a physical game, right? It's not digital. Um, Now I don't even want to think about a trading system or anything like that in Duel Links. It just wouldn't work. I'll
Right.
let you get
Oh my
if it's
god.
if it's a free to play game, trading and stuff like that never works. It's toxic most of the
Yeah.
time. So that's not even something we should even consider doing. I think it would just be better if Konami just fixed old boxes, make them half price, make the structure decks worth it again. At least rogue status, like even if it's just as they get as far as powerful as Dragoonity, that's fine, but the whole thing needs to be in there, the whole core at the very least.
Right.
You can take the staples out. You don't have to give us bad aim if you don't want to anymore, but you have to give me the full Dragoonity. I should be able to pick up Dragoonity, put my staples in there, and play the deck without having to go and get anything else like
Right.
that. I should be able to
That's
do that.
fair.
Um, there was two other. Oh yeah, the cosmetics. Obviously, bring in the cosmetics.
Yeah.
And then one last thing I actually was going to talk about. Totally forgot. Don't nerf decks immediately. I guess kind of bringing the witchcrafters back in. That deck got murdered so fast. I don't like witchcrafters. They made the tournament slow. They was a pain to cast them. But seriously, I feel super bad to all the people that bought it, and I think it's the second fastest deck that's been nerfed outside of like Six
Right.
Samurai with Dojo. Witchcrafter was nerfed like immediately.
Maybe they
So,
were afraid that it was driving people away from the game.
and maybe that again, I Konami's not transparent with me, so I don't know if that was the case. Um, but I actually talked about this on stream a little bit. If you want to admit that you made a mistake in releasing something, the correct thing to do is either A, offer a refund, which they won't do, or B, let them resell those cards back to the card trader for a UR Dream ticket so they can go buy something else with the money that they've already spent on the game.
Right. That's
That's
fair.
only fair because you've banned the card. So if you banned the card, then they should be
Right.
able to use it, something out of it. Especially with how fast. If it was banned like half a year ago and you bought it, that's whatever. I don't, come on, you got your value out of that. But I mean, if it's like Witchcrafters where it was like banned
Like a
immediately,
month, right? Month or two.
yeah, like it was an emergency ban, and then
Yeah.
again it got banned in the big ban list. That's just messed up, man. That's not cool. That's not cool whatsoever.
I feel like right now the game, like if you're looking at like a line chart, like the whole game, the money is going up, but right now we're in one of those little valleys. It goes down, but it still starts trending back up overall. So I think like because you were saying, oh, if it impacts their bottom line, it probably is a little bit, but it's just a slight valley as it's trending up. That so I don't think they're gonna worry about it. The only
I
way to
mean,
get them to worry about
we
it is
know they're
if
not gonna worry about it.
the only way to get them to worry about it is if everybody agreed and stuck to it and stopped spending money on the game. But that's never going to happen. So I just
Yeah.
think that the state of the game is the state of the game.
Realistically, what's going to happen with the game is give it like 2, 3, 5 years max. They'll milk out everything it's worth. The player base will start because right now it's probably still gaining more players than it's losing on a daily
Hmm.
basis. But I've seen this happen with free to play games all the time, where they have like this kind of imbalance between the free to play versus the whales. Because it really is detrimental when one whale leaves, right? Like if one whale stops playing, that was thousands of dollars that you were getting out of that person in like a pay quarter now gone to zero. Like that's
Right.
really bad. And those whales need the free to play players to basically beat up on and show off to, because it's like, hey, look at all this cool stuff I got. So it is an ecosystem that needs to be maintained for the format to work. Most games don't do that. Most games go with the scorched earth policy, where it's like we're gonna go in, milk it for all it's worth, and then once it's done, you know, Duel Links 2.
Right.
Uh, I want to say Konami's gonna have the third eye open up and be like, oh my god, we didn't realize how profitable Duel Links would be, because I don't think they realized how profitable this would be. I thought they probably thought it wouldn't last as long as it did. And that's why they created like a physical speed duel where they slowed the game down to like a snail's pace and then went a whole different direction with this one. Um, and at this point, it's either they're gonna make their own version of TCG, or you're gonna get more things like YGO Omega, for example, comes out, and then all the free play players are gonna be like, oh, I can just play this, if it becomes popular. And even if that one doesn't become popular, just like TCG, there's all these emulators. And if you see anyone playing Yu-Gi-Oh on Twitch, for example, it's on the emulator. They're not doing the whole remote duel with their hands and everything like that. Like that's not happening. Like they won't do that.
Right.
So the game right now is fine financially. It's not like, oh, doomsday is upon us. It's the end of the world. But this is not a sustainable way to run a business. It's not a sustainable way to run a game. And it's so easy. The alternatives are so easy. Literally, like, Tay in a bikini. Wow, look at all the millions of dollars I just made. look at how easy that was. Come on, Konami. It's
Maybe
not
not in the
hard.
U.S., but
Maybe not in the U.S., but the Japanese player base. She can wear a one of the one piece instead.
there you go. There you go. I know overall, I think it's still pretty strong. I don't think they're going to really change a whole lot 'cause I don't think they need to. I think there's plenty of whales and there's a free to play option. People might not like it. And if you have spent money on a deck right now, it's value season right now in Duel Links. I feel like if you get into a deck, you can just sit on it for months, and isn't that what people want? Because there's people like me that are just gonna buy the box no matter what, because I like to collect. So if you buy into Shiranui when it first came out, you are so happy right now. If you bought Black
I
Wings,
guess
you're so happy right now.
I guess it depends on the type of player you are. For me personally, I don't like it when a deck lasts way too long. I'd rather like back before when I did whale on the game, when they were releasing like every single box that was coming out was like meta impacting.
Right.
That was like, for when I did spend on the game, that's what I liked seeing. I
Hmm.
liked buying boxes on a regular schedule. I like setting money aside to buy new boxes. I like playing decks. Um, I am not a huge fan of, Dark Lords lasting a year, Element Sabers lasting a year, Sure Nui lasting a year. Yes, it's good value wise, but I get bored, man. I get
Yeah,
so bored so
I get
quickly.
that part of it, but I wonder if there's just a lot of players like me. I just like to buy the cards. I don't compete with them. I like to collect them and then make auto duel decks with them. I know that's sad, but that's what I like to do with them.
I mean, it's
I
at the
think
end of
there's
the day,
probably a
it's
lot
a
of
game.
people like that.
Yeah,
There's
it's
got to
it's a
be.
game at the end of the day. However people play is however they play it. You can't stop them. There are people that
Right,
literally just collect cards and that's it. They don't even play duels whatsoever.
right. So I don't know. It's a tough one, right? I agree with. I think with most of what you said with the monetization aspect, where they could make some gains. It's just I don't see why, from the box perspective, why they would change anything. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
I
I
think
think
I
it's
think
working for them, and then if they added
yeah.
those things on top of it, the skins and that kind of stuff.
If they
But
did what I said, they'd probably make less money in the short term, but it's almost guaranteed they make more money in the long because the game would be shut down otherwise.
right, well, I mean, if you put the old boxes half price, damn,
I would go in right now. If they announced right now there'd be a sale for all the old boxes for half off real life money, there's a lot of stuff I want to go get just to meme with
right.
that I don't want to spend my gems on, but I will pull out the credit card for 100%.
I'd even
So,
pay a monthly fee to have those cosmetics every month. You know what I mean? Like for
yeah.
for a subscription fee of $20, you get new cosmetics every month.
That's another thing that a lot of games do that this game doesn't do. Like you have a monthly subscription, and that monthly subscription you get 1.5x experience. You get like you could have like unlimited duelists or whatever, like an
Right.
extra duelist or
Because
something
after a
like just
while, it's
really minor things that don't really matter. Like you
right.
get an
Spend
extra
all your
50
gems. Who
gems for
cares?
logging
Yeah.
in. You know, I'm surprised Duel Links doesn't have something.
Because you think there'd be a lot more people would be like, I can afford $20 a month when it's
Yeah,
like
it's like,
that.
oh, $20, I get more auto duels. I get to, I get to auto duel at the gate or something stupid like that. Like
Right.
that's just like Konami, just hire us. Listen, PDS can make your cosmetics. Circus can give you dumb ideas that'll make you millions
Hey,
of dollars.
wait a minute.
We've got you.
I don't know. I don't know. I think we've beat this horse enough. Is it dead yet?
It's dead.
It's dead. All right. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments. I know most people hate the way the game is now. I'm all right with it, but I know most people aren't. So let us know how you feel. Get in our Discord. Don't complain about it in the Discord, though. We don't want to hear it in the Discord. We
Yeah,
just want to
don't
talk about.
complain there.
We just want to talk about new player help and Gen Chat. We like to Gen Chat a lot, so make sure to get in there because it's free, and that's where we announce and host all of our tournaments, like the one that you see on the screen right now, Battle Phase EU. So we're gonna get out of here. I'm Circus. That's Rye.
Make sure to submit Taya bikini pictures in DLE memes, all right? So we can say it was all joke.
See you next time.